All right, today we're jumping into something fascinating, the silicon healer's shadow. We're going to take a deep dive using our source material into the hidden biases that can lurk inside the very algorithms that are designed to help us. So let's get into it.
So, our source material kicks things off with this really poetic idea of AI as a silicon seer, this new force that promises to heal and guide us. But right away, it hits us with a paradox. This powerful new light also creates a shadow. And that shadow, as we're about to find out, is algorithmic bias. That's what we're here to unpack.
Okay, so let's bring that metaphor down to earth with a clear definition. What is this shadow really? It's algorithmic bias. Now, this isn't just some random glitch. We're talking about a systemic error that's literally baked into a system, leading to outcomes that are consistently unfair. The most important thing to get here is that the problem isn't the machine itself, but the flawed human data and assumptions it's built on.
Right. So if the bias isn't actually born in the silicon, where does it come from? How does this shadow even get cast in the first place? Well, let's break down exactly how it all starts.
So what we learn is that bias kind of sneaks in through three main doorways. First, and this is the big one, is data bias. The AI is literally learning from our own prejudiced history. Second is the design of the algorithm itself, where a poorly thought out goal can lead to some really skewed results. And finally, there's us, the human feedback loop, where our own confirmation biases can actually end up reinforcing the AI's mistakes.
And this is where it gets really clear, right? Just look at these two examples. You have a hiring AI that learns from a company's past hires, which were mostly men. Well, guess what? It's going to teach itself to prefer male candidates. Same thing with a medical AI. If it's only trained on images of skin conditions on lighter skin, it's going to be way less accurate for patients with darker skin. It's simply a mirror, reflecting the biases in the data we feed it.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. The consequences are staggering. Get this, that number up there, 34%, that represents the error rate found by a huge MIT and Stanford study for commercial facial recognition systems when they were identifying darker-skinned women. For lighter-skinned men, the error rate was less than 1%. I mean, that is a massive, real-world disparity, and it's all driven by biased data.
And these huge disparities, well, they lead us right into the next part of our source material, which pulls no punches. It calls this section the ugly truth. This is where we see just how far that shadow can actually reach into our everyday lives.
One of the most damaging things we're seeing is something called digital redlining. You know how banks used to literally draw red lines on maps to deny loans to people in certain neighborhoods? Well, algorithms can do the exact same thing now, just digitally, denying loans, job opportunities, or other critical services based on data that ends up being a stand-in for race or class.
And this quote just nails the danger, doesn't it? What started out with this amazing promise of healing and making things more efficient, it ends up creating new scars, reinforcing the very same inequalities we hoped technology might help us fix.
You know, the source also gets into the more personal internal cost, using this really interesting metaphor of an inner garden. Think about it. When bias systems are constantly defining our worth and our potential, telling us what jobs we're suited for or what opportunities we deserve, it's like they're planting weeds of doubt inside our own heads. Our own vibrant potential can start to fade into what the source calls shades of algorithmic gray.
Okay, I know. This all sounds pretty grim, right? It's easy to feel like we're just locked into this path. But our source asks the million-dollar question. Is this future actually set in stone? Are we stuck with this?
And the answer, thankfully, is a big no. This is where the whole story starts to shift toward hope. It turns out the very thing that's casting the shadow, it might also be our best shot at finding the light.
And here's the paradox, the central idea here. We can actually turn AI's immense power back on itself. The very same ability that lets it analyze huge datasets and learn our biases can also be used to find those biases, often in ways that we humans just can't see.
So how do we do that? Well, this slide lays out three concrete paths forward. First, we can actually build AI auditors to check other systems for fairness. Second, we can push for what's called explainable AI, which basically opens up the black box so we can understand why an AI made a certain decision. And finally, we can use some really advanced techniques to actively clean up or de-bias the data before the AI even sees it.
And this brings us to what might be the most important part of this whole conversation. Because at the end of the day, we have the tools, but it's all about the choices we make. It's about keeping the human in the loop.
Our source gives us two really powerful ways to think about this choice, framed through two different viewpoints. You've got Zoran, who sees AI as this dangerous fire. It's powerful, yeah,
but it reflects our flaws and it can burn us if we're not constantly watching it. And then you have Fletcher, who sees it more like a digital compass, a tool that, if we use it consciously, can actually point us toward a more humane future.
And Fletcher's path isn't just wishful thinking. It's a real game plan. It's about actually questioning what the AI tells us, not just blindly following it. It's about using its efficiency to free up our time for actual human connection and care. It's about using the AI's reflection of our bias as a mirror to improve ourselves. And, this is key, it's always about making sure human oversight and our values are the true north.
And this quote from Zoran, wow, it just brings it all home, doesn't it? It's the ultimate takeaway. The technology itself is neutral. It's not good, it's not evil, it's a tool. Everything, and I mean everything, depends on the intention and the awareness of the people who build it and use it.
So as we wrap this up, the source leaves us with one final thought, and it's really a question for all of us. This technology is here, and it is not going away. The question is no longer if we're going to use it, but how. The shadow is real, but so is the light. And the choice of which one to amplify, well, that's up to us. So how will you navigate it?